Well, there are many things I could be doing on this fine Saturday morning, but instead I'm shooting this video, so, yeah. Recent events today have been rather enlightening, primarily what's been going on with the internet. It seems by posting some, well, rather blunt comments directed towards certain individuals who we've all known, had a history of dealing with, and by naming names, and by not throwing up immediate evidence that these people were, well, liars and frauds and slanderous and libel, and even saying that I wasn't going to do this because I wanted to give them I was waiting for them for the other shoe to drop so that I could, because I actually inspired them to, well, if you get proven lying, get your friends to lie for you, type of deal. Here's the thing about it. Yay, I have charges. Yes, I have pending child pornography charges. I admit it. The thing about it is, there's been such a delay. I mean, you can look at the video where I say an examination of the kangaroo courts of Raleigh County. In fact, you can even look at the blogs on the Dragon Ninjitsu Blog spot, where I address this and even go on so far as to mention that, hey, here's the paperwork, including that recording of the court hearing for Judge Kirkpatrick. It's also on YouTube as a video referred to as an examination of the kangaroo courts of Raleigh County, and a copy of the criminal complaint where a second search warrant is mentioned. But the recording from Circuit Court has Prosecutor Pat Lamb saying there isn't one. So we come into two problems. He's trying to cover up for the police, or he's lying. Well, perhaps he's lying to cover up for the police. Either way, there comes that issue of the second search warrant, which he says doesn't exist. But there's proof that it does exist, and the fact that he refused to give me that criminal complaint, I had to go buy it myself. There's a copy of the receipt from the courthouse, too. So, that raises a can of worms. It gives you probable cause to investigate the police, and since I keep pointing to this appeals hearing where Ashley said she was coerced by the prosecutor, the cop, and her mother, which we no longer have access to, which, in fact, Judge Hudson even sealed this after I went to jail for 10 days for contempt of court for pointing out that he was allowing her to lie in court, but he wouldn't let me discuss it. He was actually preventing me from doing so, showing his own bias. What we come to is a very simple situation. By exposing certain people as liars, Baron Shepard, Don Rowley, Bill Elmore, and of course their connection to not only Bujin Khan, but to Omega Publishing Corporation, those are the people who own Paladin Press and Soldier of Fortune magazine. What we come into is this interesting little situation where you're talking about a person who's trying to cover up for their own malicious lies and attempts at character assassination to push their own martial art. They've even gone so far as to try to, I don't know, bring Sheeta Kim into this, and unfortunately, even Anthony Cummings. Now, you might ask yourself, why? Do they have anything to do with this? Well, allow me to explain. Sheeta Kim has been a longtime friend of mine. I actually dedicated the 3rd edition of Black Dragon Ninjitsu to him. He's been kind of a mentor to me, even when all this stuff has been going on. And my open admission on YouTube and in other places of having used my ninjitsu, my ninja skills, to gather information on these police officers, their associates, and everything else, it's not good for business because, well, at least for the Bujin Khan guys, because I'm actually putting my money where my mouth is and using my material all alone, kind of 007 burn notice behind enemy lines type of shit. And they have mythology. And of course they're going after Anthony because, well, to be flat honest about it, I reference Anthony a lot. And there's a reason I do reference Anthony Cummings. Very specifically, Anthony Cummings has this goal of uniting the ninjutsu community. Now, I don't believe he'll be successful in this because there's too many people, too much money invested into it, working off this Bujinkan franchise to make money, that they're not going to admit that no one has a proven historical lineage, and their ninjutsu doesn't match up with the historical documentation. That being said, it puts all of us at the starting point of put up or shut up as far as lineage, and how come your stuff doesn't match what's in the historical documents that were written by actual ninja who were afraid that ninjutsu would be lost, so they put it to pen and paper so that the art would be preserved for future generations, for which they were successful. Now, you start seeing all these people, when I started doing some research into them, seeing certain people had business associations with Don Rowley and these other people who were their friends, also uniquely had friends on Facebook who were my friends, including one who was my student. But when I question my student about it, he doesn't even know who the hell this guy is. So it becomes an issue of, why are you not only stalking me, but you're stalking my students? Are you going to harass them next? Look, here's the deal. Let's just keep this simple where it is. I use Anthony for a reference for two very important reasons. Number one, I actually like historical ninjutsu. I really love the subject matter of historical ninjutsu. And two, Anthony is the only non-art aligned. He's not trying to push any system. He's not trying to prove Koguryu or Bujinkan or Tomo Ryu or Chosun Ryu or any of this other stuff. He's not trying to say this style is ninjutsu and don't believe anyone else. He's saying this is what the historical research is. Go look into it yourself and make up your own mind. I respect that. I respect the fact that he just looks at it and says, look, as far as, historical evidence is concerned, I haven't seen anything that proves to anybody, so we're at this point to where this is what the ninjutsu is, the stuff written historically by the actual ninja. And even, more importantly, having no obligation to try to sell anything from anyone else's organization, Anthony did a lot of research into Seiko Fujita, just because of people having brought that up about, Seiko's books and everything else. So Anthony went and talked to someone who was trained in Nakano. He had dug up class schedules for Nakano that showed that Fujita only taught a 8-hour course on ninjutsu, and he taught it from the Bansen Shukai, which is an actual Koga document. Well, there's a Koga version and an Iga version. They're almost exactly alike. So, yeah, he went and did this research, and he looked into all this stuff. And in the course of discovering historical ninjutsu, without trying to prove any particular style or prove anybody's lineage, he found a great deal of information. He puts out a great deal of information freely and openly, and I actually respect him for it. It's really great to be able to look at history, to see historical documentation, or to look at the facts related to history without having to hear some made-up bullshit lineage about some guy you don't like or some style you don't like training in, just so that you can look at it and see for what it is. So the fact that I even have to justify my association with the man just to keep him from being harassed, hopefully that's my goal of what I'm trying to do. It is pathetic and insane in and of itself, because Anthony doesn't endorse my style of ninjutsu. He doesn't say, hey, Ron has a historical proven lineage, none of that. And I'm perfectly cool with that. I can look at historical ninjutsu for the purpose of historical ninjutsu, to see it for what it is, and to use the historical documents in whatever way helps me. I'd rather enjoy that aspect without having to have a particular style pushed on me or a particular lineage pushed on me that I don't particularly agree with, that I have to go along with it so I can fit in with the rest of the cult. Really. Now, that being said, we come into this. We all, well, not all of us, but many of us aren't aware of this, but there is a ninjitsu information dissemination network, which is made up, centered around Don Rowley, who has spread out all these malicious lies. And yet, Mr. Rowley, who when called on this, is getting other people to come up and attack me because I've been charged with a crime, but yet no one wants to look at the evidence, and I've put the evidence out there. I should therefore be guilty simply because I am charged. I suppose that means if I were to go to court and be found not guilty in court, then I should therefore be considered guilty anyways. Right. The reason why is because this person doesn't want to be found out for the lies that they told. And here's the thing about it, you can look on my blog, an open letter to Jonathan Russell. If you lay down with dogs, you're gonna get fleas. Where I actually prove some of those malicious, unfounded claims by none other than Don Rowley. And you can look where Baron Shepard had put his 2 little cents in on my little comment section talking about self-proclaimed experts on the internet. And that prompted the blog where I was talking about none other than Bujinkan lies and the spreading of misinformation by these people and half-truths to try to attack and disparage other people to push their style, their agenda, their cult. Look, here's the deal. You want to attack me? Go right ahead. Oh, that's right. I started showing where you were lying. So now you want to try to push other people away from me so that you can say, hey, they agreed with it, and push your own little agenda. That's fine. Do what you do, because here's the thing about it. Let me explain this to you. I don't have to do much. Hardly anything. The only thing I did was I put out information, then I watched you swarm to cover it up, which kind of makes it seem like the information is a lot more accurate and true than what you're letting on. And, well, here I am at 12:36, 12:37 in the morning, wide awake, with a broken foot, well, you know, I spent all day arguing with people trying to push an agenda for Don Rowley. And of course, the Ninjitsu Information Dissemination Network caters to pushing the Takamatsu and mythology. The lies and the fraudulent claims of the Bujinkan, their fraudulent lineage, their unproven lineage. I'll be nice about it. Like I say, they're fraudulent. We'll just call it unproven for now. Why? Because we must take what is said as gospel truth. Because Hatsume says so. And he was told by Takamatsu, and Takamatsu is impervious and can catch bullets with his teeth, and he has the glow and shit. Look, all you've done is basically spent all day trying to attack people associated with me, trying to make me look bad publicly, and in response to that, you made your own self look scared, weak, and yeah, maybe people should go check out my blog and see where you've lied, where you've spread false information, and yeah, hey, you know, there's a little thing too that, you know, see, I haven't been in contact with Johnny for months because of somebody going to Baron complaining to his church and throwing out all kinds of wild accusations and shit. And, well, everybody knows Johnny was helping me with a lot of the research and keeping track on stuff because, well, my computers weren't up and running. And some of them were missing. But it's really funny because even with no contact with him, hey, look, well, there's other people helping me, for one, that you don't know about, and two, it's not that hard to do my own damn research over the internet, especially when you idiots are on Facebook. Really? Seriously. It's no ninja secret just to go check your friends list, what groups you belong. Anyway, you kind of get the point. Just, let's keep it simple. Leave the bullshit aside. If your art has merit, if your lineage has merit, if your historical ninjutsu research has merit, then let that stand on its own. If the only thing you can do is attack me, the only thing you prove is that, well, you're not even better than me. And when you're attacking me with lies, you actually prove that I'm a lot better than you, regardless of what I'm charged with. Because I don't have to lie about it. Hell, I can sit here and talk about it. It's a fact. The evidence has already been put on the internet. It's on the blog. Everyone can see it. Recordings and everything else. I'm pretty sure that'll speak for itself regardless. But what you're afraid of is being outed for what you really are. I know what I really am. There's a difference.